Hello everybody, excuse me. Hello everybody, welcome back to my television review series. Today we'll be discussing Squid Game Season 1. I believe it has been renewed for Season 2, but there's only been one season out. Obviously went viral, I think it was 2021, but within the past year, 2 years. So big viral buzz. Figured I'd check it out. I got a little Netflix subscription. I'll probably watch Ozarks next, because again, there's one season of this. I'll give you my overview, overall grade, with just some general thoughts. And then if you have not seen the show, after the end of that, which I'll remind you again, then you will shut off the video if you want to go watch the thing. Because then I'll be doing an in-depth plot synopsis and character development of the people in the show. So there'll be spoiler alerts. And then maybe some similar shows and movies, but definitely similar ones for this one and part of my grade. So the overview is simply, and it's on Netflix, it's got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, 93% like this show, 8 out of 10 on IMDb. Hundreds of cash-strapped contestants accept an invitation to compete in children's games for a tempting prize, but the stakes are deadly. That's the whole overview. It was released on September 17, 2021. So overall grade, and this is a Korean show, so I watched it dubbed, or not even dubbed, not subtitled, but pre-translated, and then you don't even hear the original Korean vocalization. So I think I'll give it a B. Give my grading scale is F, turn it off, didn't watch it. D was actively off-put by it. C was just whatever. B is entertaining. A is extremely well done. My highest grade is an A+, plus or minus, skewing the scale a little bit for any of the letter grades, which is just, again, the American grading system. But give it a B. Again, a lot of the, I think there's some stuff in translation probably. Like, again, I'm good with Spanish and French, and when I'm listening to stuff and then reading subtitles, it's like, and then you take that translation where, like, contextually what they're saying is literally direct, and then people translate it, and then it's like gives away too much of the plot or something, because it'll just be like, oh my gosh, why would you ever do that? Something bad might happen soon, and something bad happens right after that. When if you're listening to the native language, it's implied by the context. So it's just kind of a little bit of the plot development there, which is kind of sticky to, I think, simply because of the translation. A lot of the low light scenes were hard for me to watch. Again, I had my blinds open in my apartment, but it was just hard to see what was literally going on in some of the scenes, and there's a decent amount of low light scenes. So it's definitely thought it was entertaining. The actual plot was not anything super unique. A bunch of rich people would get together and have people compete for entertainment, for money. I mean, we have Hunger Games, which is kind of different, more of like a class structure, struggle type of deal. We have like Escape Room. I've seen several movies like that. I've not seen the Saw movies, but those were huge, and again, just like murder, gore, torture stuff for entertainment. What other ones? Hunger Games. Oh, Purge is kind of similar, at least in one of the Purges. The movie, I think, or there was a TV series, but like again, there's a subsection of rich people competing over poor people killing each other. So definitely not a novel idea in any way, but the only reason my grade might be not higher is just because I think there's some things like translation that was just not as easy to follow, or too easy to follow, I guess. But I did like I thought the vibe, the ambiance, the soundtrack, like the flutes and the walking up the flute stuff. I thought that was well done. So B overall. So now I'm going to give you my in-depth breakdown. So if you have not seen it, I definitely recommend it. Entertaining show. I'd be better. Personally, I would like to have heard the actual Korean audio with subtitles as opposed to overdubbed. But that just might be me. So definitely recommend it. And now we're going to get into the plot synopsis and character development. So we have our main character, Song Hyun. I'll try to pronounce these names. Again, I don't know the Korean alphabet at all, and I know the phonetics, like there's so many sounds, but I'll try to pronounce these names as best I can. But I've not studied Korean, so sorry if I butcher this. But Song Hyun is the first dude, and he starts out, he's kind of like living with his mom, he's divorced, he's got a wife and a girl. He ends up losing her because of not having financial support, and he's addicted to gambling. And so he gambles at a racetrack with his friends with stolen money. Basically, he guesses his mom's PIN number to get some money. He wins, but gets pickpocketed and beaten up by loan sharks. So he wins the bet. That's when you meet the first, I think it's Kong Se-byok. I think it's a North Korean chick, but Ho Yeon-jung is the actress. Pretty girl, pretty lady. But he wins at the racetrack, and he's running away from people that he owes money. He bumps into this girl, his money falls out of his pocket, and when they beat him up in the bathroom, he's like, I have money right here, looks, and his money's gone, and he realized that she took it. And so basically at that point, they have him sign, blood stamp something about signing away his rights, which is not even exactly sure to me if at the very beginning, the first, the people beating up Song-hyun is even associated with the Squid Game at all, or just other people that he owes money to. So I'm not sure what he does when he signs over there at that point. But I think it might be associated with the Squid Game people. Then we have Song-hyun plays a Korean game with red and blue envelopes. Basically, some dude comes up to him and is like, do you want to, we'll play this game where it's literally envelopes, mailing envelopes, and they just throw it at the ground, and if it flips over, you win. And if they get one card to flip over, the Sung-hyun would get 100,000 won, which I'm not exactly sure what that is conversion, but I looked up the total prize money was 45.6 billion won, and that's 36.8 million US dollars. So, but whatever 100,000 won is, and if he loses, he just gets slapped. So basically, and then after the end of the game, he wins some money, and then he gets a card and is like, if you want to play more games like this, or if you want to, win more money, give us a call, and gives him a business card. And so he eats with his daughter and gives her an arcade present. Will lose custody if he can't provide financial support. Later takes some of the, I think it won a couple 100,000 won, goes to an arcade, tries to get his kid a present, which I don't know why he used to not go buy something, as opposed to play an arcade game to try to get something. But he has some kid that's really good at the game win, and gets it, and it's like a fake gun's lighter. So he gets his kid, his daughter's, 10. He agrees to play Squid Game and gets picked up in a van. Game 1 is red light, green light. 50% of the people die, 25.5 billion won prize money. So a bunch of these people, again, I think it's 456, I think he's the actual last dude. And so I think it's 456 players. And they basically get this contract, and it's once you start playing, you can't stop playing. If all players, the third one, it's only 3 things. So the third one was if the majority votes to end the game will end. And the second one was, I forget the other one, but it's you consent to play or something. It's just really simple. And so all of the players are not really sure what they're doing, but they agree to play. Again, they're all gambling addicts. They all have a bunch of debts. A lot of the debts are between 500 million and 5 billion won. And so they play red light, green light. Just you can move when it says green light, and you have to stop when it says red light. So they're not really sure again what's going to happen. And then the first 2 dudes run out there, and then one messes up on the red light and gets shot by a sniper. And so everyone's still not exactly sure if he's actually dead or if it's some kind of ploy. And then the next round happens, and they get up to the guy because he sprinted forward, and they see him coughing up blood, and they just start freaking out. So after round 2 of red light, green light, they all just start sprinting for the doors, and just half of the homies get murked. So then it's those kiddos didn't get to play Squid Game too long. They got killed pretty fast. But 50% of the people die, and now they all realize that this is the second rule is if you lose a game, you will be eliminated. And it doesn't tell you what eliminated means. It means to kill you. So that's now they're all realizing what's going on. So they vote on ending the game. The game ends. Police don't believe Song-hyun. His mother neglected diabetes. So they vote the third. There's I forget who it is exactly. I think it's Cho Sung-woo, another major character, the business guy. There was another person in the Squid Game who went to business school, had a big scholarship, but had lost a lot of money, financial trading, and stocks and futures. And so whoever that guy was, what was I saying about him? Oh, but he steps up and it's with the third clause of the contract is if the majority vote to end the game, then we'll stop. And so they win by 1 vote. And again, a lot of insecure characterization and character development in this, probably contributing to my grade as well. But I genuinely can't see any normal average person being like, let's have death games for $36 million. I couldn't even the plot seems like seems like an insecure writer imagining what people would fight over and saying, wow, $40 million is like, wow, sick. So I just can't even vibe with that. I think it'd be 100% to 0 everyone voting to end the game. But they dropped them back off. And so Sung Hyun's mother has diabetes that she's neglected, and her feet are real bad, goes to the hospital and just kind of walks off. But they still get a couple more pieces. A banker gangster gets set up, kills the driver, and jumps off a bridge. Not exactly sure what part of this is early on, not exactly sure what that is or what more to say about that. Sung Hyun gets paid off by ex-wife's husband, rejects it, and gets approached by police who follow the players rejoining. And so basically his ex-wife, daughter, and her husband, new husband, are going to move to the United States. He's going to lose custody if he does not have financial support. And so you meet a police officer, Hwang Jun-ho, and he basically says, my brother, I believe you, because when he goes to the police officers, like the police station, they're just like, they call the business card and the number's not in order, and they're just like, yeah, this never happened. But this guy comes up, Hwang Jun-ho, and it's like, I believe you, my brother got on a van like this. And so he follows it. They go on like a ferry. They go to some sort of island location. They get on a ferry, and the police officer kills one of the guards and puts on a suit. And the Squid Game people, they have just like these purple suits, or pink suits, and they either have a triangle, square, or circle on their face. Not exactly sure what's the higher rank, but just different shapes. So police become Squid Game moderator after murking an op. He dumps the body, and 100 out of 83 out of 201 return to play. So again, I can't imagine people just get slaughtered after just red light, green light, and be like, yeah, maybe if I'm the last person of all these people, $40 million, that's worth it. A lot of these people have debts of like a couple million, so equivalent in won. So it's like, just I don't even get that. But the pickpocket climbs through the vent and smells sugar, trying to get an indication of what Game 2 will be. Game 2 is played. It is Crazy Cutter with sugar cookies. Don't break or crack the cookie. Basically, there's an umbrella, a star triangle shape, and a couple other shapes. And they don't know the games beforehand. They'll get some rules like form teams or do this, but they don't tell them what the game is, so they don't know how to strategize. And so they have to line up behind shapes, and they don't know what they're doing. So obviously, the more complicated the shape, the more likely you're going to crack or break the cookie and get killed. And the moderator just sit there, and as soon as you fail, they just kill you. And so the Sung Hyun's running out of time at the very end, and he just figures out if you lick it, then it's easier to break without cracking, or it's like it's like a shape inside of a square, and you have to etch it out with a needle and not break the shape. So again, like Crazy Cutter in Mario Party. A game player takes a member hostage, kills himself. Prize money is now 34 billion won. So during the Crazy Cutter game at the end, one of the players steals the gun from the moderator and then shoots himself. So it's like, why would you not shoot the moderator? So again, a little plot was like, what was that for me? Is like, if you're going to kill yourself, they're going to kill you instantly afterwards. Might as well take a couple of them out. The players get an egg for a meal, and a player is beaten to death by another. And so there's definitely a main character bully guy. Not exactly sure who it is on here, but he has a snake tattoo. Maybe Jong Dok-soo. I think that looks familiar. But he definitely looks like a stockier guy. And I think it's Jong Dok-soo. Dok-soo sounds familiar for that guy. And so they get an egg for a meal, and they're like, this is not enough, so he goes back and gets seconds. 5 people don't get any food. And so he's like, this is the guy that did it. And then Yong Dok-soo beats him up, kills him, and at that point the players pretty much learn they can kill each other as well. And so before then they were like all on the same team, and now they're like, oh, we can kill each other too. So that night, there's going to be a lot of beating and dying. One of the players is harvesting organs with the guards, and fighting breaks out at night. 80 are left in the morning. So a couple of the guards in the Squid Game, they're taking the bodies of all the dead people and harvesting their organs and selling them. They talk about, and the police officer gets in there at some point, but that's going on, and that's going to maybe lead to some trouble. But fighting breaks out at night, and the Jong Yong Baksu, and he's got his player, it's 278, he's his other muscle dude, and he's with, there's a really annoying chick in the show, I think it's Han Min Yao. Yeah, I think it's Han Min Yao, or player 70. I think it's Han Min Yao. I think player 70 is the wife of the dude who ends up killing her. But there's a really annoying chick, and she's with like the gangbanging type crew. So the gangbangers are running around killing everybody they can, and everybody else is trying to like defend themselves. But there's another low light scene, strobe lights going on. You can't really see all that well. But 80 are left in the morning. Game 3 is tug of war. Teams of 10 and 40 left. They knew the game beforehand. 41 billion won prize pool. The thug knew the game beforehand. So there's a doctor. Oh, okay. So I can't tell who's the banker and who's the doctor out of a couple of these fellows. But there's a doctor in the game, and he's helping the moderators harvest the organs, and in return he's getting told what the game is so he can stay alive. And so the thug dude has the doctor on his team, and so they pick like as many men as they can. It's like the biggest group because it's men and women, different sizes, whatnot. So teams of 10, the thug knew to get just all dudes. And so during the tug of war, the Song Hyun and the Kang Se-byuk, there's another girl that's just a South Korean. Pretty sure that's Jeong, I think, yeah. And so it's like they had a couple girls. They got this old guy, Oh Il-nam. He's the old man. He plays a pretty prominent role. I think he's number 1. And we'll find out later why. But so they have a very weak team for just a pure brute strength game. But Oh Il-nam has a plan for just strategy for tug of war. They like hold still for like the first 20 seconds. The other team falls forward. They start pulling them close, and when you lose, you literally fall off a cliff, and they cut you down. And you just fall into cement and die. And so they're up on this high platform, and so they hold back for a little bit, and they get the leverage. But then the stronger team starts coming back, and they're like, "Oh, we're about to die. But if we jump forward 3 steps each, they'll all fall down, and then we can pull them down." So they do that, and they end up winning just in the nick of time. But that's what happens for game 3, and there's again 40 left. Half the people die. The police officer gets in the organ harvesting room. The doctor kills a guard with a knife. Basically, the police officer gets in with the crew, and they're all in masks, so you can't see them. The other people involved are pretty suspicious. He's number 29. Why aren't you here? He's like, oh, he's asking stuff that the actual dude, he like steals he killed the guy, but he's asking questions that the guy who was there clearly would have known. So like, what's going on? The doctors, in that heat of the moment, ends up stabbing one of the guys for not giving him the next game because they don't know it yet. And so they run him down. You have one guard chasing the doctor, pulls out a gun. He's going to kill the doctor, but the front man, who's like the front man for the whole Squid Game organization, comes out, kills the employee and the doctor. And so they hang him up, and game 4 is played, and when they're walking to game 4, this is all done in like a children environment. And so when they go up to game 4, the 3 organ harvesting 4 employees and the doctor all hanging there. And so then the thug group does not have their advantage anymore. Sung Hyun cheats the old man. Game 4 to play, it's a game of marbles against your partner. basically you just get a bag of 10 marbles, and you get to pick whatever game you want to play, and whoever has all 20 marbles at the end, the other person dies. And so before they were doing team games where it's like they're working together, and now all these people have teamed up, and now they're going to have to kill each other. And so Sung Hyun cheats the old man, and before when they were picking partners, he picked the old man out of courtesy and we're in this together type of mode, but now he's going to realize he's going to have to kill him if he loses. So the girls chat in bed at the end. Basically, they get like 15-20 minutes. You can pick whatever game you want. Kong Se-byuk and Ji-young, they were just like, let's just bet it all at the end. Who cares? Let's talk for a little bit. One of us is going to die anyway. So kind of like, that was a kind of cool, just like, I don't know, plot development scene. But the gangbanger, I think Jong Dok-soo plays against his homie, player 278, and they're just throwing marbles in. Player 278 gets killed. A lot of people fucking die. I said fuck, sorry. But, so, the Sung Hyun, the old man has a brain tumor, and so he can't remember which, he literally plays even or odd, guess how many marbles are in my hand, even or odd, and then however many you wagered, if you get it right, that's what you get. And so Sung Hyun's about to die, and the old man can't remember which he said even or odd, so he just cheats him. And then Sung Hyun thinks he's won, the old man says he's got one left, and then he just like walks away. He's literally like wandering around. It's like an old village type setup, like playground area, and he's walking around saying, oh, my old house used to be here. And he was like, and then Sung Hyun is like, we have to play, or they're gonna kill us both. And then as the time's ticking down, he's like, well, you lied to me, you were my friend. So he's clearly noticing that he was stealing his marbles, but ends up giving his marble to him anyway, and lets him die. Or like the old man basically says, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for so you can stay, and just gives him the marble instead. And so the annoying chick doesn't have to play the game 4, and there's 16 people now left. And so the annoying chick, her characterization throughout it's like wagging her finger at the people who are gonna shoot her in 2 seconds. It's just like kind of goofy. But they had teams of 2, and she was the last one left, and everyone just assumed the guards would kill her, but she just didn't have to play. So they all go back to like the dormitory room. It's just a big empty room with like bunk beds all stacked up. And she's just sitting there like, have fun at the Squid Games, guys. And so VIPs come. They think they found the cop's body, and and player 69 hangs himself because there's a husband and wife in there. And they always team up together. And so when they lost the marble game, the wife died. And so the VIP makes several 69 jokes. And these are the rich people betting on who's going to win. So he picks 69 because 69 nice. And once 69 kills himself, he bets on 96 because it's like the opposite of 69, which is also nice. And so, but there's this dead body, and the police officer, Hwang Jun-ho, just put his badge on there so they think they got, because they know there's an intruder, they know somebody's on the island, but they don't know who it is or where he's at. So he thinks he's got away by putting his badge on one of the dead bodies. Game 5 is this glass stepping stones with 16 minutes. Basically, pane of glass, one's tempered, one's not, one can hold your weight, one's not, and then you just have to jump on the one, and if you crash, you die, you fall back onto cement and die. And so, they have to pick vests, there's 16 of them, and they don't know, they say the order you pick is the order you're going to play. And so, Sang Hyun, he's at the very end, a bunch of people run and get the middle numbers, and then like the first numbers and last numbers are left. He was going to go for the first one, and some other guy was like, can I go first? And Sung Hyun's like, sure. And so he gives him the first one, and then obviously, farther back in the line you are, the less likely you are to fucking fall off on the untempered glass and break through and die. And so, 3 people pass the bridge, the bully, gangbanger, thug dude, and the annoying chick die at this point. Basically, once they all get on the bridge, the bully guy, time's ticking down, and then all of the glass explodes at the end if they don't get across. And so he's like, there's like 3 steps left. And he's like, I'm not going to do this. So if somebody doesn't get up here and try, then I'm just going to sit here and we're all going to die. And so the chick who he banged one of the chick. There's just one sex scene in the whole show. but I think it's Han Mingyao, and I think he bangs her, and she was like, we're gonna stick this together. So she jumps up there, she's like, we're gonna do this together, and locks her fingers around him and just falls back, and they fall on the untempered glass, and they both fall down and die. So the three people that are left at this point, and from the marble game, the South Korean chick basically said, Kang Se-byuk, she has a little brother that's out, and Ji-young has nothing. So they, at the end of their game, get back to the marble game, they were just throw it closest to the wall, whoever's closest wins. And so Kang Se-byuk throws first, and decent shot, and then Ji-young just drops her marble right, just doesn't even try, basically just lets herself die because she has nothing to live for. And Kang Se-byuk was not excited about that. So the three left are Kang Se-byuk, Song Hyun, and I think it's Cho Sang-woo. Whoever the business person is, and Song Hyun and Cho Sang-woo, or again, I'll just call him the business guy because I'm not exactly sure who's who. But the business guy, where they knew each other growing up, or they're family friends, or they knew of each other outside of the game as well. And so, where are we at? Those are the three people left on the bridge. The cop gets caught trying to escape with Data. The front man is the cop's brother and kills the cop after being shot. So he gets off of the island. He has this underwater Nicolas Cage and National Treasure, just underwater propeller to go, not being seen, with an air tank. He gets to some other island, but the Squid Game people chase him down. He's on the edge of a cliff, and the front man, who has got a different type of mask, the black one, takes off his mask, and it's his brother. So the cop who was looking for his brother on the game, who thinks his brother was killed in the game, he took pictures of the record, and you see the record room, it's been going back for 30, 40 years. So it's been going on for a while, and it's the front man, it's his brother. So he has a gun, the police officer has a gun, Hwang Jun-ho, and he shoots his brother, but he shoots him in the shoulder. It's why wouldn't you shoot him in the head? But he shoots him in the shoulder, and then his brother shoots him back, also in the shoulder, and he falls off the cliff and dies. So he was trying to contact his police chief. It does not look like the data went through. And so the cop is now dead. North Korean chick is killed by the business guy after stopping Song Hyun from killing him. Basically, the three left, they get this big dinner, and every meal has been very small, like an egg, a piece of corn, very, very small meals. And now they get this big feast, and when at the end of the bridge game, the glass panels literally explode, Kang Se-byuk was injured. And so she's got an injury, she's kind of bleeding out, and the business guy falls asleep. And Song Hyun gets up to go stab the business guy and kill him, and Kang Se-byuk is that's not you, so he doesn't do that. He goes up to the pretty big dormitory area, I don't know, big gymnasium size, goes up to the hallway, says please help her, she's gonna bleed out. And then when he gets back, they're carrying, again, they put him in this literally gift wrapped coffins and then incinerate the bodies. And the business guy had woken up because he was falling asleep. That's when he was going to get killed by Song Hyun, and he had killed the chick. So the chick is now dead. And Game 6 is Squid Game. And they explain at the very beginning, but just doesn't even really look like a squid. But basically, you hop on one foot outside of the thing, and if you can cross over the shape of a game structure, game environment, then you can use 2 foot. You have an attacker, someone's trying to get to one point of the squid, but you have to hop on 1 foot. If you get across without getting knocked off initially, then you can use 2 feet if you're the attacker. But and then you want to, once you get in 1 foot or 2 foot, the defender tries to push you out, and there's no limits to the physical violence. So they both have steak knives from the meal before, and Song Hyun is hopping on 1 foot. He's the attacker. He throws some dirt in the businessman's face and gets to the other side, and then he can use 2 feet. And so now he uses 2 feet, and they basically have a knife fight. They go back and forth a little bit. Song Hyun's about to die to the business guy. Business guy goes to stab him. He stops it, knife through the hand, stops it like this, wrestles him off, and then goes to beats him up real bad, doesn't kill him. He goes to act like he's going to stab him, and puts the knife right by his head. And then he walks over to at the end of the game, then he just has to put his foot on the circle, and then game's over, he wins. He wins the $36 million. And he's like, if the third clause of the contract is if the majority want to stop playing the game is over. So he's basically, like businessman's laying on the ground, the moderator's got the gun ready to shoot him, and he's like, Song Hyun is like, let's just have this over. And the business guy takes the knife out of the cement and stabs himself. And so now he's dead, and Song Hyun wins. And so that is the end of the actual Squid Game event. So he wins, he gets the money, he wins the won, and then he gets put back in a van, gas. When they get in the van, they get gas, they're unconscious, so they don't know where they're going. And they get dropped back off as well. When he gets back to his mother, again, another low-light scene, but I'm pretty sure his mother just died. And so he goes to meet up with his mom. He sees the businessman's mom, and she was like, I haven't seen my kid. Do you know what's up with him? And he literally doesn't say anything at all. But he's like, your mom hasn't answered in a couple days, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes in there. It's a low-light scene, so I'm pretty sure she's just dead. And so his mom's dead. And he goes and meets the North Korean chicks. She has a little brother that he promised to help. So he goes, meets up with her. I'm pretty sure he brings her back to the businessman's mom, and I think he just runs away. So I got a package delivered, so I got up. I missed 20 seconds of the season finale. But I think the North Korean Kong Se-byok's brother, who's 10 years old, I think he runs away immediately once he gets introduced to his adopted mother. But the old man isn't dead and is behind the games. They bet on someone helping a homeless person, and then he dies. And then Song Hyun meets the girl's brother. So basically, Song Hyun gets a card, again, another just the initial business card of how they recruited the players, and meets up, and it's the old man. So obviously the old man wasn't shot during the marbles game, but he was the one behind it all along. And basically he was like, that's when you get the reveal of, just business people that are bored, so let's have people compete over killing each other. So super not novel concept in any cinematic or television series type way. And again, no super interesting character development, but he's like, basically we just did this for fun, and then they bet on some homeless dude who's sitting outside, and then he's like, no one's gonna help him in 6 hours. Can you believe in humanity? And then someone, a police officer, comes at the last second and helps him, and then the old man dies. And so basically the old man just wanted to play in the game himself. And so that's kind of the motivation and kind of the bigger plot reveals of the whole show. But he dies right as the top timing hits the 33 hours or 30 minutes or however long it was, and then he dies literally right after. And then Song Hyun goes and gets the girl's brother, and then he runs away. So at the very end, he sees someone playing the card smack game, just the initial envelope game that they kind of lure them in with, and calls back the game and turns around from boarding a plane. Okay, so I'm assuming he's going to America. He's talking to his daughter. I'm assuming go get his daughter. And, he calls the card game, and, the moderators recognize him. Oh, player 456. It's best for you just to get on the plane and let it be. And he turns around, so I think he did get renewed for season 2. So, we'll see. I'll probably watch season 2. But overall, just a lot of the characterization. There's a lot of insecurity and just going back and forth again. Quit. We're all going to vote to quit the game. Oh, now we're still so broke, so we're going to come back for a whopping $36 million. Killing, slaughtering everybody. The actual violence was all right. I mean, again, there's not even the violence. The overall just cinematic ambiance. Just the feel of the piece was all right. I don't know if that was because it was Korean. I've never watched a Korean television show before, but it had a good vibe, good feel to it. I guess the soundtrack was interesting. A lot of the character insecurity was just it wasn't, like I said, not off-putting. Still gave it a good grade, but pretty typical stuff. And I think some stuff just a little bit of translational stuff. So overall, B. Major themes: rich people killing poor people. Super, I don't say overused, but done many times before. In similar shows and movies we talked about at the beginning. So there you have it. That is my review of Squid Game Season 1. Thanks for watching.